Hello, darlings. It's great to see you all again. And thanks for joining me for today's video. As you can see, I'm currently in my van. And today I want to talk to you about how you can leave an abusive relationship right now and start van life. From my own personal experiences, I can tell you that van life, or even if you're just living in a car, is way better than being stuck in a domestic violence relationship. So what I want you to do is I want you to understand that there are certain ways to live an abusive relationship safely. However, today I am going to tell you the easiest and the safest way how to do that. And then as well as how to start van life. Okay, so if you're at home right now, and if your partner is at work or isn't home, you have a head start. Just leave right now. Don't worry about packing your bags. Just take with you your handbag, your purse, money, ID, your phone. You know, if you have any medications and prescriptions, grab them too. If you have a fur baby, grab your fur baby too and just go. Don't worry about packing your stuff, because you can always get someone to collect your things for you later on, or you can replace them, which is a lot better and a lot safer than packing your bags and being caught red-handed by your partner in case he comes home early. That's going to make him feel irate, and that's going to put you into more danger, and you don't want to put yourself into any more dangerous situations. So if he isn't home right now, just grab your wallet and that and go. Now, if you're at home right now, and if your abusive partner is there, don't worry. Just act normal. Do some breathing exercises to help keep yourself calm and focused. Well, they used to work for me. Not all the time, but most of the time they did. Now, you're going to say to your partner, I need to go down to the supermarket to get some bread and milk or whatever. And what you're going to do is you hop in your vehicle and you are going to leave that way. So what you are doing is you are lying to him, and you are using that as a way to escape. Now, if he goes down to the supermarket with you, don't worry. What you do is you write a note before you leave, and you put it in your pocket like, help me, please call the police or whatever. And what you do is when you go into the supermarket, and you either ask the store manager or someone who works there to call the police for you. Or if he comes into the shop with you, you hand them the note. But once you're at the supermarket, and if he's with you, you don't leave the supermarket until the police arrive. However, if you are able to leave the property on your own, hop in your car, actually go to the supermarket, because you're going to need something to eat and something to drink. You might need to top up your phone. Now, what I want you to do is once you get to the supermarket, you're going to sit in your vehicle and you're going to decide where you're going to go. Now, whatever happens, you are never ever to go back to that property where you lived with your abusive partner, okay? You are never ever going to see him ever again, and you will never ever contact him again either. Now this is your escape plan. So what you're going to do is you're sitting in your vehicle and you're at in the car park at the supermarket. You're going to Google the Domestic Violence Services Centre in your area or to the area near where you live. And you will contact them ASAP. If not, you can just go straight to the police station or call them and they can help you via that way. But like I said, whatever happens, you are not to go back to your abusive partner no matter what, because they do not change. And by doing that, you will just be placing yourself into more danger, and you do not want that. So if you have a vehicle, what I suggest you do, okay, so you have a vehicle, you go to the Domestic Violence Services Centre immediately. If it's after hours, don't worry. Just find somewhere to park for the night on a residential street so you can stealth camp for the night until in the morning, and then go to the Domestic Violence Services Centre in your area. So what you're going to do is, if you have a vehicle, whatever vehicle you have, whether it's a minivan, an SUV, a station wagon, or whatever, you will turn your vehicle into a little tiny home by doing a non-build. The Domestic Violence Services Centre can help you with this if you don't have the money. I suggest you go to thrift stores where you can get excellent second-hand furniture for next to nothing. That's what I did with my van build. And so you're going to buy you go to a place like shops like Bunnings or Home Depot or thrift stores or Walmart or wherever, and you need to get a fold-up bed with as well as a foam mattress and bedding, pillow. Make sure you get a sleeping bag. And I got my sleeping bag and blankets and stuff from the thrift stores. So I suggest you do that too, because when you're in a domestic violence relationship, you're most likely going to experience financial abuse as well, which means you're not going to have a lot of money to start with. So I suggest you do that. And like I said, the Family Violence Services can help you with that, because when you leave your abusive relationship, your vehicle will now be your home, like how my van is now my home. And if you have a friend who can help you turn your vehicle into a tiny home over the weekend, great. I suggest you do that. So you're going to get a fold-out bed, a foam mattress, bedding, pillow, a hot water bottle, what else should I say, sleeping bag. You're going to buy some plastic storage containers to store your stuff in. I'm going to hold this table, I think, because the van's rocking and my phone keeps going. So you're going to buy those plastic storage containers to put underneath your bed to store your stuff in. And if your vehicle is a small vehicle like a minivan or an SUV, what I suggest you do, you're going to have to use your bed as a couch as well because you're not going to have a lot of room. So I suggest you put your bed on one side and underneath your bed you will have the plastic containers to store your things in, and on the other side you can have like shelves or more containers as well as a little sink with a USB drink dispenser. And I'll just give you a look at my van. And so here, let me move around here and show you. So this is what I have here. Now I bought this drink container from Temu. Well, it wasn't much. I think it was about $5 or $6. Or maybe, yeah, something like that. This is only a 5 liter, I think. I have a manual drink dispenser, so I just move that up and down when I want water to come out. And this is what you need. And I'll just move these things out of here for now, just to give you an idea. And you're going to use like, now this here is a folding plastic tub. So you grab something like this. I'll just put this up here. I'll move the slide out the way to give you an idea. So you're going to like have a plastic container like this with your drink dispenser like that. Oh, so we can turn that around. You can have it however way that you want. And that will be your sink. And you'll stick them on top of some, and you'll sit them on top of some plastic containers, you know, where you can keep your kitchen stuff like your cutlery, crockery, cups, gas cooker, etc., or whatever else you may need. And so your kitchen will be on one side, and your bed, which will also be your couch, will be on the other side of your van. Now my van is IKEA Pregiro. IKEA Pregiro. I can never say that word properly. I mean name. Please forgive me. And so if you're looking for a decent large size van that's cheap, I suggest you get a Kia Pregiro van. That's why they are so popular, especially in South America, because they're cheap, they're reliable, and they're so big. And because my van is quite big, I've got my bedroom, I've got my bed down the back, I've got my couch at the front which goes across this way here, and on the side I've got my kitchen. So I'll give you a look at that in a minute to give you an idea on how you can do your van build. Now when you move into your vehicle, I suggest you start off with doing a non-build like I did in the beginning. When I first moved into my van, I just had a mattress on the floor. You can do that too if you want to. And because you can always upgrade to a semi-build or a non-build later on. And once you start living in your vehicle, I suggest you do like, to save money, like South Camp, or stay at free camps, or if you have family and friends where you can stay in their driveway, you know, I suggest you do that. Maybe you could find a cheap caravan park. There are a few cheap caravan parks around, so To save money, what I do is I stealth camp most of the time. Occasionally I'll stay at a cheap caravan park, on a non-powered site where it costs like $15 or $20 a night or whatever. But most of the time I prefer to stealth camp because it's free. Now, remember that when you, before you go down to the supermarket, when you leave your abusive partner, do not say anything like, I'm leaving you, or I don't love you anymore, or anything like that. Just don't say anything. Just act normal and just say, look, I'm going down to the supermarket because I need to grab some bread or milk or whatever. Is there anything else you'd like me to get while I'm there? And of course, you know you're not going to come back, but he doesn't know that. So that's going to be your escape plan. So you hop in your vehicle, you take your fur baby with you if you have a fur baby, and you're going to take your purse, your handbag, your ID, your money, medications, prescriptions, essential stuff like that, but you're not going to worry about your clothes and property. Like I said, you can get someone else to get them for you at a later date on your behalf, or you can replace them later on, which the Family Violence Services can help you with. Now, if you don't have a vehicle, don't worry. Still get in contact with, still go to the supermarket, ask the manager there to call the police for you. They will contact the Family Violence Services or whatever nearest to you, or any other services who may be able to help you, and they will put you into emergency accommodation. And they can also help finance your car, because after I left my abusive ex-husband, the Family Violence Services that I was in, they reimbursed me my car, which was good of them. And that's how I ended up living my car before I got my apartment and before I got my van. And if I didn't have my car, I don't know what I would have done, So that's how you're going to live an abusive relationship, and it's how you're going to start van life. So the day that you leave your abusive relationship is the day that you are going to start van life. So if you have a vehicle, whatever vehicle you have, it doesn't matter. Just go to a thrift shop, get a bed, get plastic storage containers, get little tubs so you can do your dishes, get like a drink dispenser and a bottle, and that will be your kitchen, and yeah, so that's how you're going to do it. And so I found out, like I said, I found out from my experience living with domestic violence that once I started van life, it was a lot better than being stuck in a domestic violence relationship. And so that's how you're going to do it. You're going to say to him, I need to go to the supermarket, and you're going to use the supermarket as your escape plan. And so that's how I did it, and that's how I suggest how you do too. So whatever happens in your when one day when I get the money, I'll get a high with pudding. But until then, Oh well, I'll just have to put up with this for now, but it's okay, it's not too bad. But whatever happens, don't worry, you'll be okay, you'll make it work for you. And so remember, the most important thing is that once you get away from that house where you are living with your partner, you will never go back there and you will never contact him or see him ever again. And that is the very most important thing, okay? So I hope my advice is useful in some way for you. I mean, I don't like talking about domestic violence, but it's such an important subject whether we like to talk about it or not, because it is unfortunately, domestic violence is the leading cause of death in today's society, which does everything, including car accidents, suicides, and drug overdoses. So what you're going to do is you're going to, like I said, just go to the supermarket. If he's not home, good. Just go. You don't have to worry about going to the supermarket. Just go to the Family Domestic Violence Services or to the police station, and they will help put you onto the right people. If he's home with you, you say to him, I'm going to go to the supermarket because I need to get some bread, milk, whatever. Is there anything else you'd like me to get for you while I'm there? And once you leave the property, that's it. You are now free. And that is the moment you will start living your vain life. So as soon as you're away from the property, still go to the supermarket so you can get something to eat and drink. Top up your phone if you need to. If you don't have a phone because it's taken away from you, go to the supermarket and ask the manager or someone who works there to contact the police for you. They will put you in the right, with the right services, and they will help you, like getting your phone back and whatever else you may need, including a vehicle and whatever else. So if you go to the Family Violence Services, tell them, because you're going to receive counseling, tell them everything that happened because I want to know. And if you don't have a vehicle, tell them that he sold you a vehicle. They will replace you with another one, which my ex-husband actually sold 2 of my vehicles. One but 2. Because I had a Gemini sedan. I think it was in 1979, but it was my dream car, which my parents gave me the money to buy, and he went and sold it back to the guy that I bought it from, the car that I bought it from 6 months earlier, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's threatening me to, if I don't go along with him signing the paper, he's going to harm me. Oh my God. I mean, he only sold it for just $500, and he spent the whole $500 on marijuana, which just makes it less than a week. And then while he's smoking bongs after bong, watching TV, all of a sudden he starts laughing. He's going like, hey bitch, look, I'm smoking your car. I mean, those words hurt more than when he actually did sell my car, And he didn't have to say that because that is what he was actually doing. But he just wanted to rub insult into the wound because he's just a spiteful, psychopathic idiot, And then a few years later, my mum sold her brand new car, and she replaced her brand new car with 2 used cars, one for her and one for me, and then he did the same thing later, which he sold it behind my back to his mum's next door neighbor, and again he spent the whole money on drugs again. That's the same with everything else of mine. That's why the day that I left him, I had nothing except the clothes on my back. I mean, before I got married, I had everything. I had a car, money, jewelry, I had everything. But the day that I left him, I had nothing except the clothes on my back, and he would have taken them too if he had half a chance. I mean, what a moron. But these are the type of things that you have to deal with when you're in a domestic violence relationship. But don't worry, you will recover from your trauma. Like I have, well, I'm still recovering, to be honest. Because of my experiences with domestic violence, I now have anxiety, depression, and PTSD. I'm okay during the daytime, but the nightmares just won't stop. And I mean, it's not nice dreaming about your trauma every night. But what can you do? You just have to make the best of it. But yeah, so that's what you're going to do. If you're in a domestic violence relationship, you're going to leave that relationship right now. I want you to leave that relationship right now. If he's home, you tell him you're going down to the supermarket to get whatever. You actually go down to the supermarket because you're going to need a drink, something to eat, maybe top up your phone, and you're going to start van life right there and then. You're never going to see him ever again. You're never going back there or get in contact with him ever again, no matter what. Period. End of story. Once you leave that property, that relationship is now over. So once you leave that property, forget about him and move on with your new life in your vehicle. Okay, so that's my video for today. I hope you find this information useful in some way, and I want you to get out of that abusive relationship immediately. So like I said, you're going to do it the safe way. You're going to go down to the supermarket in your vehicle, and then once you drive away from the supermarket, you're going to start living your own life. You're going to go to get in contact with the domestic violence services or the police, or maybe both. If you need to apply for an intervention order, do that. Go to the thrift shops and get whatever you can for your van. Even if you don't have a bed, just get a mattress and stick it in the back for now. You know, even if you don't have a lot, you can start by getting a few things at a time. You know, like a mattress, bedding, sleeping bag. Start off with the essential things like a pillow. Like I said, don't worry about your clothes and stuff. You can organize for someone to get them on your behalf later on, or you can replace them. Which is, like I said, which is better and safer than you being caught red-handed by him back in your bags because he's going to kill you for leaving him. Okay? So that is why you are not going to pack your bags. You're just going to go, because timing is very, very important, because timing, the difference between being too late or too early, could be the difference between your life and death. So it's another story, because there's so much details about how to live an abusive relationship safely. So I'm just telling you the main things, the main way, and the safest way, and the quickest way. So get out of that relationship ASAP right now, this very moment, and you are going to start living your van life today. Okay, so I have to get going because I don't want this video to be too long. So whatever happens, I wish you all the best with your new life, and don't worry, because you will be okay. So I'll see you in my next video. So until then, take care, darlings, and remember, stay safe and drive carefully. Bye-bye.